rambling all the night, and the best part of the day. And now I'm returning back again. I have brought you a branch of May, a branch of May, my dear, I say, before your door I stand. It's nothing but a sprout, but it's well budded out by the work of our Lord's hand.
The county of Bedfordshire in the East Midlands boasts a rich and ancient history. Today, close to the town of Silsoe, lies a stunning estate, 90 acres, boasting everything from lush woodland walkways to ornate marble fountains and a picturesque pavilion. And in the midst of it all, a grand mansion, the Grade 1 listed Wrest Park.
What I find so wonderful about Wrest Park is this sense of contrast. And really, it's the contrast between the house and the landscape gardens. When you look at the house, this is in the style of a French chateau, taken from France and put here in the middle of these fantastic landscape gardens. The house dates from about the 1830s, but the gardens themselves began to be landscapes in the mid-1600s. And then they were further developed by that most famous of landscape gardeners, Lancelot Capability Brown, in the mid-1700s. So for almost 400 years, this landscape has been shaped, it's been smoothed, it's been planted, it's been designed to fulfill the needs of status, fashion, and the styles of the various times. And I think, for me, this is where that sense of a contrast really becomes most apparent. When we stand at the far end of the gardens and we look back towards the house, and we see a house that's very much of its time. And then when we stand on the terrace, looking out from the house into these fantastic vistas, we get this sense of the sort of quintessential English landscape garden. So there's this dynamic tension, which I think is remarkable and really helps to set the place off.
When we look at a stunning house such as this, it's easy to think of it as a museum piece and to forget that this was a home. And on this site, lives were lived for centuries before the mansion itself was built. This beautiful house was the home of one particular family for multiple generations.
Wrest Park was the home to the de Grey family for many, many centuries. In the later 17th century, Amabel, Countess of Kent, who married into the family, was known as the Good Countess because of the work that she did to support the local poor. Just one example is the fact that she bought the local pub when the existing owner was struggling and then leased it back to them, keen perhaps to ensure that there were still facilities in the local community. This philanthropy continued, and we've got evidence of it going right into the 19th century. The family were known for giving prizes and even giving clothing to pupils at the local school. But in 1914, Wrest Park became a hospital caring for wounded and convalescent soldiers from the First World War, and it was a hospital that was paid for by the family. It lasted as a hospital until 1916, when unfortunately a fire damaged the house and really began a decline in the fortunes of the house. But it ends a story that is really characterised by this idea of good works and charity on the part of the family to the people who lived in the local area.
This grand estate calls for a local song with a grand history. Connecting with the tradition of almsgiving, from the masters and mistresses of well-to-do houses to local springtime carolers, the Bedfordshire May Song is a local variant of the timeless May Day carol which was once sung right across the UK. Here in the voice of singer Dila Vardar, these days we associate singing carols with Christmas, but in the past, there were numerous times of the year when villagers would go door to door asking for charity. May songs such as this one were accompanied by a ritual in which the singers known as mayors would leave ornate branches of hawthorn at the doors of the houses they visited as they exchanged songs for drinks, food donations, and even some silver coins. This song speaks of the natural cycles of death and regeneration, so very in keeping with Wrest Park's history as the site of a military hospital.
I've been rambling all the night, and the best part of the day, and now I'm returning back again. I have brought you a branch of May, a branch of May, my dear, I say, before your door I stand. It's nothing but a sprout, but it's well budded out by the work of our Lord's hand. Go down in your dairy and fetch me a cup of your sweet cream. And if I should live to tarry the town, I'll call on you next year. The hedges and the fields, they are so green as any